Hello and welcome to another session in mathematics. In this session we'll be looking at trigonometry and our focus will be on bearing. But before that, let us take a review of our previous lesson. Welcome back. Let us look at bearing. Okay, when we talk of bearing, we are dealing with the movement of objects or the movement of human beings from one degree to another, or from one cardinal point to another. We know generally we have 4 cardinal points: the north, south, east, and then west, right? So we look at the movement of human being from the north, then round the globe, okay, and then we call that what? Bearing. And we know when we talk about bearing, we deal with what? Degrees. And remember, the highest degrees is 360 degrees, which is angle at a point. Then a right angle triangle is angle 90 degree. Angle on a straight line is what? 180 degree. Now looking at this from north to south, this is 90, this is another 90, this is 90, and this is 90. Added together, it gives us 360. So if we talk of a man who starts a journey and then moves let's say 90 degrees, we start from the north. Whenever we want to measure the movement of a man, we start from what? The north. This is north, and then we count 90 degrees. This is the point where 90 degrees is met. Then you draw your line, and then an angle is formed from here, which is what? Angle 90 degrees. Do we understand? So whenever we are dealing with bearing, we start from what? The north, and then move clockwise. Okay, we start from the north and move what? Clockwise. So let us quickly look at an example of bearing. We have an example here on the screen. It says 3 towns which are P, Q, and R are such that the distance between P and Q is 50 kilometers, and the distance between P and R is 90 kilometers. If the bearing of Q from P is 75 degree and the bearing of R from P is 310 degrees, find the distance between Q and R, and then the bearing of R from Q. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, like I will always tell us, is to understand what the instructions and the information that is provided. So from the information that is provided, we are told that there are what? 3 towns, and these 3 towns are P, Q, and what? R. So let us start. We have this point. Remember, we have north, south, east, and west, right? Like I told us, I'm not going to use these alphabets. Okay, so we are told that the 3 towns, we have what? P. So let's take this point to be the point P, and that's where the journey starts. It says that the distance between P and Q is what? Is 50 kilometers, and then the distance between P and R is 90 kilometers. It says the bearing of Q from P is what? Is 75. So the bearing is what? At P. Now let us start. Let's count 75. Remember, I told us that from here to here is 90, right? So let's assume that from here to here is our 75. We'll draw it, okay, and stop somewhere there, and also draw this. Okay, so this point is 75 degrees, and then this point too is 75 degrees. How many degrees is left in this 90? Remember, this is 90. this is 15 degrees. Do you understand? Okay, then this line, he said the distance between P and Q, remember this is our Q, is what? Is 50 kilometers. So here is 50 kilometer. Okay, we've drawn this, and it says that the bearing of R from P is 310. From R to P is 310. We start here. From here to here is 90. Then to here is how many? We have how many? 180 plus 90 again. That will give us 270. And then we are looking at what? 310, right? So let's assume that 310 is somewhere here, and then we'll draw a line. Okay, and then join this to this, and remember this is our angle what? R, and from here to here is 310 degrees. Okay, if this is 75 and we measured here to be, this is 270 plus what will give us 310. 270 plus 40, so here is 40, and it means invariably that this remaining part is 50 degrees. Do you understand now? Okay, so and we are told that this line is how many kilometers? Is 90 kilometers. 90 kilometers. Okay, so we've gotten our R, we've gotten our Q, we've gotten our P, and then we are asked to find the distance between Q and R, this line, and we are asked to find the bearing of R from Q, that is from here to here. Let's call it theta, since we don't know the value. Okay, let us start. Let's call this small letter b. Let us start. From this triangle we can draw something more beautiful. So we'll now use this angle here. 50 plus 75 will give us what? 125. So we'll draw a triangle PQR. Do you understand? So let's go over. We have triangle that looks like this, and this is Q, and this is P, and this is R, and here we have the total to be 125 degrees, and here we have it to be what? Theta. Okay, this side is 50 kilometers and this is 90, so this is 50 kilometers and this is 90 kilometers. Okay, we've now formed a triangle. Now the first question said we should find what? The distance between Q and R, the distance between this and this, Q and R. Okay, now line QP is given, line PR also is given. So considering this now, what do we use in solving for the value of QR? Which law do we use? Okay, so at this point let's remember that this is our small letter P, while this is a small letter Q, and this is a small letter R. So we are going to use cosine rule. So to determine the value of small letter P, it would then be P squared to be equal to R squared plus Q squared, remember, minus 2 times RP, then cos angle at P, cos P, and then that will give us P squared to be equal to, what's our R squared? 50 squared plus Q squared, which is 90 squared, minus 2 times 50 times 90 cos 125 degree. Is that correct? So P squared is equal to 50 squared will give us what? 2500 plus 90 squared will give us 8100 minus 2 times 50 times 90 will give us 9000. Then cos 125 degree. Okay, so what do we have? We have P squared to be equal to this plus this will give us 10,600 minus 9,000, and remember cos 25 is the same thing as cos minus 55 degree, right? And therefore we have P2 to be equal to 10,600, then minus 9,000 times minus cos 55 will give us plus 9,000 and cos 55 degree. Therefore P squared will be equal to this plus this. We have 10,600 plus 9,000 into cos 55 then is equal to 0.5736. okay, cross check it on your calculator. P squared is then equal to 10,600 plus 9,000 times 0.5736 will give us how much? 5162.4, and then when they are added together we have 15,762.4 as our P2, our P squared. So finding the value of P, our P then will be equal to the square root of 15,762.4, 15,762.4, and that will give us 125.5 kilometer. That's the value of what? P. Okay, then the B part of the question, we're asked to find the bearing of R from what? From Q. The bearing of R from Q. So from here, the bearing from here to here. How do we determine the bearing of this to this? We start by adding this. This is angle 90, right? Plus this, we have 90 again. Is that correct? Then here is given to be what? 75 plus 75 degree, and then we have here to be what? Theta. So plus theta. So that is what we have here. 90 plus 90 plus 75 plus theta. So let's go over our B. The bearing of R from Q is equal to 90 degree plus 90 degree plus 75 degree plus theta. Okay, so what we need to find now is the value of what? Theta. What we need to find is the value of what? The value of theta. So let us go back to the diagram. Okay, now from this diagram, this is the line facing what? The given angle. So this is our opposite, right? And this line is the line facing the highest angle, which is our what? Hypotenuse. Okay, and now we are dealing with what? Angle 125 and what? This line opposite. We've gotten the value of our P. So therefore we are using sine, which is, so we are using what? Sine rule. Sine rule. Okay, we are using sine rule. For sine rule, we then use this is the side P. So have P over sine P to be equal to, this is Q all over sine what? Q. Do we understand? So let's go over. So we have P over sine P equals Q over sine Q. Okay, let us start. What's the value of our P? Our P is given to be what? 125.5 all over sine. Angle at P is what? 125. Okay, we have 125 degree to be equal to our line Q. What's our line Q? 90 kilometer. Okay, so we have 90 all over sine what? Sine Q, which is not given, which is given to be what? Theta. So we have sine what? Sine theta. Okay, let us proceed. If we cross multiply, we then have 125.5 sine theta to be equal to 90 sine 125 degree. Therefore, sine theta is equal to 90 sine 125 degree all over 125.5. Okay, and then that will give us 90 times 0.8192. that is the value of sine 125 all over 125.5. so sine theta is equal to this times this divided by this will give us 0.5875. so to find the value of theta, we then take theta to be equal to the sine inverse of 0.5875, and then what do we have? We have what? 35.98 degree. 35.98 degree. So the bearing now would then be 90 degree plus 90 degree plus 75 degree plus, what did we get? 35.98 degree. Then if we add them together, what do we have? We have 290.98 degree. So we have 290.98 degree. Then to the nearest degree we have 291 degree. Okay, you see, as bulky as it may look, but it's very, very simple if only you pay close attention to what we are doing. So thank you for being part of today's class. I know you must have enjoyed what we did. So before we go, kindly provide the answer to the following questions on the screen. Welcome back. We've done justice to bearing and we'll stop here today. So do well to use the lesson note on the platform for better information on what we've just done, and feel free to leave your questions and comment on the comment section. Till we meet again in our next class, stay safe. Bye.